Here's a summary of Apple's Q1 Fiscal Year 2026 earnings call. Suitable for reading aloud. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Apple's Q1 Fiscal Year 2026 earnings conference call. Today, we're delighted to share news of a record-breaking quarter, demonstrating the continued strength and innovation of our products and services. Leading our discussion today is Apple CEO Tim Cook, followed by CFO Kevan Parekh. Key financial highlights: Apple achieved $143.8 billion in revenue, marking a significant 16% increase year-over-year and surpassing our expectations. This represents our best-ever quarter. Profitability: diluted earnings per share, EPS, reached an all-time record of $2.84, a robust 19% increase year-over-year. Net income also hit an all-time record at $42.1 billion. Gross margin: the company's overall gross margin stood at 48.2%, exceeding our guidance and showing a 100 basis point improvement sequentially. Products gross margin was 40.7%, up 450 basis points sequentially, and services gross margin was 76.5%, up 120 basis points sequentially. Operating cash flow: driven by these strong business results, operating cash flow reached an all-time record of $53.9 billion. CEO Tim Cook's remarks: Tim Cook expressed immense pride in the company's performance, highlighting a quarter for the record books. He emphasized that this success is a testament to Apple's relentless commitment to innovation, its customers, and its mission. iPhone dominance: iPhone demand was simply staggering, with revenue growing 23% year-over-year to $85.3 billion, setting an all-time record. This growth was observed across all geographic segments, with the iPhone 17 lineup being the strongest and most popular ever. Services momentum: services also achieved an all-time revenue record of $30 billion, up 14% year-over-year. This growth was broad-based and extended to both developed and emerging markets. Record installed base: Apple's installed base of active devices now exceeds 2.5 billion, an all-time high, demonstrating strong customer loyalty and satisfaction. Apple Intelligence adoption: a significant majority of users on enabled iPhones are actively leveraging the power of Apple Intelligence, with features like visual intelligence and live translation receiving positive feedback. Geographic strength: Apple set all-time revenue records in the Americas, Europe, Japan, and the rest of Asia-Pacific, with strong double-digit growth in emerging markets like India. Greater China saw an impressive 38% year-over-year growth, driven by a record number of iPhone upgraders and switchers. Product highlights: Cook detailed strong performance across the product lineup. Mac revenue was $8.4 billion. The Mac installed base reached an all-time high, with nearly half of purchasers being new to the product. iPad revenue was $8.6 billion, up 6% year-over-year, with an all-time record for upgraders. Wearables, home, and accessories revenue was $11.5 billion. Apple Watch and AirPods Pro 3 continue to resonate strongly with customers, focusing on health, wellness, and immersive audio experiences. Retail and values: Apple's retail operations also saw their best-ever results, with continued expansion in markets like India. Cook highlighted Apple's commitment to its values, including sustainability and supporting American innovation through significant investments in manufacturing, silicon engineering, and AI. CFO Kevan Parekh's remarks: Kevan Parekh provided a detailed financial breakdown, reinforcing the strong top-line and bottom-line performance. Revenue breakdown: Products revenue reached $113.7 billion, up 16% year-over-year, primarily driven by iPhone. Services revenue, as mentioned, was $30 billion, up 14% year-over-year, with all-time records in advertising, cloud services, music, and payment services. Gross margin drivers. The strong gross margin was attributed to favorable product mix and leverage. Products gross margin saw a significant sequential improvement due to mix and leverage, while services also benefited from mix. Operating expenses. Operating expenses were $18.4 billion, up 19% year-over-year, driven by increased investment in research and development. Capital allocation. Apple returned nearly $32 billion to shareholders during the quarter through dividends and share repurchases. The company ended the quarter with $145 billion in cash and marketable securities. Management's forecasts for future quarters. For the March quarter, Apple provided the following outlook. Total company revenue expected to grow 13% to 16% year-over-year, acknowledging potential iPhone supply constraints. Services revenue expected to grow at a year-over-year rate similar to what was reported in December. Gross margin expected to be between 48% and 49%. Operating expenses projected to be between $18.4 billion and $18.7 billion, consistent with the December quarter's level. Tax rate expected to be around 17.5%. Significant risk factors. Management highlighted several risk factors, including macroeconomic conditions, the potential impact of global economic slowdowns and consumer spending shifts, tariffs and trade measures, the ongoing implications of tariffs and trade policies on global operations, legal and regulatory proceedings, potential legal and regulatory challenges, supply chain constraints, specifically, constraints on advanced nodes for SoC production are impacting current supply for the March quarter. Memory pricing. Increasing memory prices are expected to have a more significant impact on gross margins in the upcoming quarter. Highlights. Record-breaking quarter. Best ever revenue and EPS. Staggering iPhone demand. All-time revenue records across geographies. Services excellence. All-time revenue record for services. Massive installed base. Over 2.5 billion active devices. Apple Intelligence adoption. Strong user engagement with new AI features. China growth. Impressive 38% year-over-year growth. Emerging market strength. Double-digit growth in India and other emerging markets. Strong gross margins. Exceeding expectations with favorable mix and leverage. Capital return program. Significant returns to shareholders. Lowlights. Supply constraints. Current constraints on advanced node capacity are impacting the ability to meet immediate demand for iPhones. Memory price inflation. Increasing memory prices are anticipated to impact future gross margins. Wearables category down slightly. Revenue for wearables, home, and accessories was down 2% year-over-year, partly due to AirPods Pro 3 constraints. Most important statements from management. Tim Cook, CEO. I am proud to say that we just had a quarter for the record books. We are reporting our best ever quarter with $143.8 billion in revenue, up 16% from a year ago and exceeding our expectations. Apple's December results underscore our relentless commitment to innovation, to our customers, and to our mission to build the best products and services in the world. He also emphasized the staggering demand for iPhone and the extraordinary customer enthusiasm for the latest lineup. Kevan Parekh, CFO. Our revenue of $143.8 billion was up 16% year-over-year, our best quarter ever. Across the world, we set all-time revenue records in both developed and emerging markets. He also highlighted the strong gross margin performance, stating, company gross margin was at 48.2%, above the high end of our guidance range, and up 100 basis points sequentially, driven by favorable mix and leverage. Regarding the outlook, he stated, We expect our March total company revenue to grow by 13% to 16% year-over-year, which comprehends our best estimates of constrained iPhone supply during the quarter. In conclusion, Apple delivered an exceptional first fiscal quarter of 2026, driven by robust demand for its products, particularly the iPhone, and continued strength in its services segment. While facing some supply chain and component cost challenges, the company's outlook remains positive, with a focus on continued innovation and customer satisfaction.